All right, hello everyone. Let me just make sure I got everything streaming live. All right, perfect, I am. Okay, it is actually 7 o'clock on the dot. So if you've ever been to any of my trainings, you know that I start on time so we can end on time, but more so importantly, because I respect your time. So today I actually want to talk to you guys or go over with you about credit in regards to credit repair. So let me get my presentation started and we'll get to moving and grooving. All right, and I'm actually going to just kind of move myself out of the way. All right. All right, so let's talk credit repair. If you don't know, my name is Rainiori, but I go by Rainy like a rainy day. And I am a realtor in the Tampa Bay area, but I'm also a board certified credit repair consultant. So if you have not or you've not connected with me as of yet, make sure you take the time to connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube at Homes to Investments. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at Rainiori Senior, and then you can also connect with me again on LinkedIn with real estate underscore with Rainy. So let's get into it. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from Albany, Georgia, but I currently live in the Tampa Bay area. I've also lived in Connecticut as well as South Carolina, so kind of been a little up and down on the East Coast. My background is in healthcare. I started out as an occupational therapist, and I'm also a nursing home administrator. And I tell you that to let you know that my background and my passion is really all about helping others. So I wanted to definitely just let you guys know that. Some of the things that I love to do, I love to travel, I love to meet new people, and I also like to help people do things that they once thought was impossible, hence how I started in healthcare and now being able to help with real estate and with credit repair. Um, if you have not done so, make sure you take this time to share this on your social media platforms. If you're on Facebook, share it with Facebook as well as on LinkedIn. And now that you know a little bit about me, make sure you put in the comment section where you are viewing this stream from. Put in your state, city, let me know where you're actually streaming from. When it comes to credit repair and credit laws, there are a couple that you definitely need to make sure that you know. One of them is the FTC, which is your Federal Trade Commission, and it's designed to protect your right to receive, use, and maintain credit. Now, it does not guarantee, though, that you will receive the credit. However, it does protect your rights to receive it. It also protects your rights by requiring businesses to give you a fair and equal opportunity to get credit and resolve disputes over these credit issues. The next law you may need to look into is the Fcra. That's your Federal Credit Reporting Act, and it promotes the accuracy, fairness, and privacy of your information maintained by the consumer reporting companies. Then there's the TILA, the TILA, that's the Truth in Lending Act. And what it does is ensure that the creditors are providing complete and honest information regarding your profile. Some other laws you need to look into is going to be your Cfpb, and it's actually your Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Although this isn't necessarily a law, it is some great reading so that you can understand your rights as a consumer. It is a very lengthy report. However, it gives you all of your rights as a consumer. The next law you need to make sure you have at least some type of stable foundation and knowledge of is going to be the Fdcpa. That's your Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. And what this does is that it establishes the rules for debt collectors. Then there's the Ecoa, which is your Equal Credit Opportunity Act, and it prohibits creditors from discriminating against applicants on the basis of their sex, race, color, marital status, the religion, their national origin, age, receipt of public assistance, or prior exercise of any rights under the Consumer Credit Protection Act. Another thing you need to make sure that you are knowledgeable of, or at least know about the different statute of limitations of debt by state. Each state has their own laws pertaining to the amount of time that lenders and collection agencies have to sue consumers for non-payment. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but just because something is no longer on your credit report does not free you from having to pay that debt. Some people get that confused. The one that I want to really just kind of zone in on, the law or the act, is going to be that Federal Credit Reporting Act. And what this does is you must be able to have every item reported on your credit report to be reported timely, to be 100% with verifiable information, and also be 100% with accurate information. And what this act does is it gives you the right to dispute anything that you believe is not accurate or verifiable. So what exactly is a credit score? Well, it's a 3-digit number. It's typically between 300 and 850. It's designed to represent your credit risk or the likelihood that you will pay your bills on time. So if your score is lower, you're going to be at a higher risk and they're going to think you're not as likely to pay your bills. If your credit score is higher, you're not as risky and they feel as if you will pay your bill. The way that they determine your credit score is going to be by 2 different models. It's the Vantage 3.0 model, and then there's the FICO. And they use the information from your credit report to create your actual credit score. If you want to look into your Vantage score or your FICO score, I have links that you can actually sign up for and be able to get a little bit more information about those different scores. So how are these scores calculated? Well, again, they're 2 different models, so they're going to calculate a little bit different. Your Vantage scores, it consists of your recent credit, and it's going to count for about 30%. Payment history will count for 28%. Your percent of your credit limit used will count for 23%. And then the total of your balances is going to count for 9%. The age and type of the credit will account for 9%. And then the available credit will account for 1%. Your FICO, on the other hand, will only look at 5 different categories, and it will look at your payment history and account that for 35%, look at your amounts owed for 30%, your length of your credit history will account for 15%, and then your new credit will account for 10%, as well as your credit mix will account for 10%. Now, what you're usually looking at when you're looking at like Credit Karma, those are going to consider to be your Vantage scores. So if you've ever tried to apply for a loan, and or sometimes with the different car dealerships, your scores may be a little different. And the reason being is just because of this. The Vantage scores is counting 6 different things, while your FICO score is counting 5 different things. What I usually tell my clients that sign up with me, regardless of whatever model that you're using, we really want to just focus on exactly what's in the credit profile. Because if we look at what's in the credit profile, those scores in and of itself will actually increase. There are 3 different credit bureaus that will account for your credit score. There's Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. There are several companies called data furnishers that report this information to the credit bureaus. So you may notice that your numbers may be different between the different credit bureaus. And the reason being is just because that some data furnishers may only report to one of the bureaus. Some may report to 2, while others may report to all 3. But at the end of the day, that's why it's very important just to make sure your credit profile altogether is top-notch, as positive as it can be, because you just don't know which data furnishers will be sending what information. So what exactly is your credit score? Your adult grade, or your adult GPA is what I like to call it. If you have a 579 and below, you would be considered to be very poor and have an F grade. If you have a credit score of 580 to 619, it's considered to be poor and you have a D grade. If you have a 620 to a 659, it's considered to be fair and you have a C. If you have a 660 to a 699, that's considered to be good and it will give you a B. If you have a 700 to 759, that's very good and we're going to give you an A. And then if you have a 760 to an 850, that's considered excellent. And not only are we going to give you an A, we're going to give you an A++. Now, just because you're not in that excellent range, it doesn't mean that you can't do different things to help increase your credit score. And I will be sharing with you a couple of tips that you can start today to kind of help get you at a higher credit level. So there are some do's and don'ts for credit repair. The definitely do is that you want to make sure that you're disputing any negative or inaccurate items. Now, do not try to dispute things that you know is yours, right? Only dispute those things that are negative as well as are inaccurate. And if you have any credit repair company telling you that they can get stuff off of your credit and guarantee you anything, run away from them, because both you and them will end up in the county jail somewhere. So it is illegal for you to give any type of false information in regards to your credit report. You also want to make sure that you're establishing different types of credit. A revolving credit can be anything like with the mortgage and or a car. And then the installment types of credit is going to be credit cards or any monthly payments that you may have to make. Another do with the credit repair that you definitely want to keep your balances below 30%. Remember, the amounts owed in regards to your FICO account for 30% of your report. So you definitely want to make sure you stay under that. You also want to make sure that you know your limits when it comes to your credit cards. So your limits of your individual accounts versus the group accounts. There are some credit monitoring systems. I want to say that Credit Karma does. They just give an overall number for all of your accounts together. You want to make sure that you look at those accounts individually to make sure that they're under the 30%. Now, let's say your credit limit is at $1,200, right? And you have a balance of $527. Your utilization in that amount, you would do $527 divided by 1,200 will give you the 43.9 or 44%. So your utilization will be at 44%, but we need to try to get you under 30%. So what would the 30% be? You would do your 1,200 times your 30% or your 0.30, and that will give you $360. If you get your credit under the 360, you will see a significant increase in the number of your credits in your credit score number. So it is very important to just make sure that you're trying to do the best that you can in regards to that 30%. Another thing you want to do is definitely making sure that you're monitoring your scores, and you're also looking at your report, if not monthly, as often as you can, because sometimes the different information that's not correct can end up on your report. How does credit actually affect you? It can definitely affect you when it comes to buying a house. So let's say you have a 30-year fixed rate with a principal loan of $200,000, right? If your credit score is below the 620, your APR will be at 6%. Your monthly rate could be about $1,199. And so your total interest paid over that time frame will be over $231,000. If your credit score is between that 620, 719, give you a 4.5% APR. Your monthly payments could be about $1,013. Your interest rate paid over that time will be about $165,000. And if your credit score is over 720, you will get a lower APR rate at 3.5. Your monthly rates could possibly be around $898, and your interest rate could be about $123,000. So 100 points in and of itself could cost you over $100,000. The thing to take away from with this is that the higher the credit scores, the lower the payments, which lead to less interest paid over time. And now let me also throw this out there to you guys. Just because you have a lower credit score, that doesn't necessarily should not stop you from purchasing your home. If you were able to qualify based on whatever your loan is, I would highly recommend that you still apply for the loan. And what you do is you work on your credit, and then you do what we call a refinance. As you continue to build your credit and have better credit, you just continue to do a refinance. That's what a lot of our counterparts does. And to help pay your home off, once you get a refinance, you just keep paying that same amount, pay that extra towards the principal. That's how you'll pay your home off quicker. So just want to give you that tip. Just because your score is lower doesn't mean that you need to wait until your credit score is top notch. Your credit score can also affect you when in regards to buying a car. So let's say you and another person are buying a brand new car, right? One person has a credit score of that 730. Your interest rate could be about 1.99. Give your payments to be give or take about 368. Your total interest paid over that time will be 1302.39. Total payments will be 24,000. Person B got a credit score of 599. Their interest rate is going to be higher at the 14.99%, meaning those monthly payments are going to also be higher, giving you at pretty much about $514 a month. Your total interest paid over that time frame is going to be close to $11,000, and your total payment has increased to $33,921.44. So person B is pretty much going to be paying close to $10,000 more than person A. Another thing with this as well too, if you need a car right now, there's nothing wrong with, trying to get the approval, but what you can also do is also do a refinance as your score gets better to help with your interest rate, or just trying to pay it off as quick as you can. Just a quick side note, what is actually your APR? That's the actual credit interest rate. It's the price that you're paying for borrowing the money. For credit cards, the interest rate are typically stated as a yearly rate, and this is called that annual percentage rate, or the APR, as we all know. So for an example, if you have a credit card with a 24% APR, that's the rate you're going to be charged over 12 months, which comes to be about 2% per month. And since months vary in the length, credit cards are broken down. They break their APR down further into a daily periodic rate of the DPR. So dividing that by the 365, it'll be a 0.065% per day with the credit card at 24%. I said all of that to say the lower the APR, the better. So what are the top 5 things that are hurting your credit? There's going to be foreclosures. And I will let you know, when you have any changes in your credit score, you may see a significant change if you're starting off at good credit. If you're starting off kind of lower in the bad credit, you may not see as many points as we'll see here. So with the foreclosure, you can lose anywhere between 85 to 105 points if you have a bad credit or bad score. You can lose 140 to 160 points if your score is good. For debt settlements, you can lose 45 to 65 points if the score is bad, and you can lose 140 to 160 points if the score is good. Well, and let me also tell you this: if you're doing some type of debt settlement or any type of settlement, before you pay them off, make sure you request for them in writing, not anything verbal, but in writing, a pay to delete. So what that means is once you pay it, they'll pretty much kind of delete it out there. So don't start paying off anything unless you have it in writing, their agreement for a pay to delete. Another thing that's hurting your credit is going to be missed credit card payments. You can lose anywhere between 60 to 80 points if your score is bad, lose 90 to 110 points if your score is good. For maxing out your credit card, you can lose 10 to 30 points if your score is bad, and lose 25 to 45 points if your score is good. For bankruptcy, you can lose 85 to 105 points if your score is bad, and lose 140 to 160 points if your score is good. Some other factors that hurt is going to be your bad debt to your credit ratio, and that's pretty much how much credit you're using compared with your credit limit. Closing old accounts can hurt you. Even if you're not using that account, don't close it, because what usually happens is that the history on that account, if it's a long-standing account and you close it, is going to rearrange your credit history in and of itself. So don't close any old accounts unless they're just kind of falling off due to their time frame, but you don't call or request for it to be closed. Also, apply for multiple loans or multiple credit cards. I will tell you guys this, that what lenders are doing, or anyone doing when they're pulling your report, if they're doing a hard inquiry, they're looking at all of your inquiries. And if they're seeing that you have multiple inquiries trying to get approved for whatever the case may be, that's a red flag for them. So definitely try not to apply for these multiple loans or multiple cards. And another thing that would definitely hurt your credit is ignoring your bills. My grandma used to tell me that, you're going to always have to pay somebody. Yeah, true enough, but you owe those people. So pay that bill. Or if you can't, make sure you make some type of arrangement with them, because otherwise what's going to happen, going to end up in collection, and it will truly, truly hurt your score. Some other ways that bad credit can cost you: you can definitely pay more in mortgage, pay more in your auto loan, pay more in your credit card interest rate. Your insurance is likely to cost more. You can get denied apartments, as well as having to pay higher deposits. Now, remember, because we're about to get ready to go into the actual credit report. Remember, we're looking at the FICO accounts, and it accounts for the 5 categories. So some common factors that can reduce your score: you could have up to 192.5 in regards to your points if everything is top-notch in pristine good order. Now, if you start having late payment, it's going to start deducting from that. And remember, your payment history count for 35%. So if you start having late payments, past due balances, collections, and charge-offs, those charge-offs are usually after 90 to 120 days. Any public records such as bankruptcies and foreclosures, you are taken away from your points. So you will no longer be able to get the full 192.5. In regards to your amount owed, that's going to count for that 30% again. So the full maximum point you can possibly have is 165. So those factors that can affect that you getting that total score is going to be that high credit utilization ratio, too many accounts with balances. For new credit, you can get up to 82.5 points. Those factors affecting that is going to be too many recent credit inquiries, kind of talked about that, and too much new credit. So even if you're going to the stores and they say, oh, you can save 10%, yeah, you may be able to save 10%, but it's going to affect your credit score 15%. And then also too, your credit mix account for 10%, and you can have a total of about 55 points. What's affecting that is going to be an unbalanced credit mix. And then finally, your length of credit history accounts for that 10%, and you can get a total of 55 points. Things that affect that is going to be that credit age, as well as your lack of sufficient credit history. So how long do items stay on your credit report? Your inquiries are going to stay on for 2 years. Derogatory accounts such as late payments, collections, those are going to be 7 years from the date of the first delinquency. Not the date that you opened that account. The first day that you had like a late payment, that is when that time clock starts. So it'll be 7 years after your first late payment. Bankruptcies usually stay on for a Chapter 7, 10 years from the date filed. A Chapter 11 is going to be 10 years from the date filed. And then Chapter 13 is going to be 7 years from the date the repayment plan ends. Unpaid tax liens is indefinitely. Judgment and child support are 7 years. Closing inactive accounts are going to be 10 years. Foreclosures are going to be 7 years. So again, you may still be responsible for that debt just because it comes off of your account. I can tell you that I actually had a client who he had a car when he was in his teens. He's in his 30s now. It got removed from his credit report, but they still tried to garnish his check for that debt. So make sure you're looking at your state statute laws. Now let's talk about the parts of the credit report, right? This is really what we came all about. Had to give you a little foundation, but now let's get into it. There are 5 different parts on your credit report. It's going to be your personal, credit history, credit inquiries, public records, and then the personal statement. And sometimes it's actually the personal statement. So when you're looking at your personal information on your credit report, you need to make sure that your name is correct, your date of birth is correct, both your current and past addresses are correct, the name of your current and past employers are correct, as well as your social security number. When you're looking at your credit history on your account, you need to make sure that you are looking at the date of the account opening and closing if applicable. You need to look at your credit limit or the loan amount, so make sure you know what your credit limit actually is. Look at your monthly balance as of each statement day, because contrary to what many people believe, credit reports do not list the information about individual purchases or other transactions. They only look at that monthly balance. Also looking at your monthly payment history that indicates whether or not minimum payments were made on time. Your credit reports do not list your exact payment amount, so be mindful of that. And also you'll have your credit inquiries on there. There are two types of inquiries. It's going to be a soft inquiry and your hard inquiry. Your soft inquiries, they do not affect your credit. And this is usually like when you pull your own credit. So like if you pull your credit from the link I gave you for the free trial, it's considered to be a soft. If you pull it from Credit Karma, it's considered to be a soft inquiry. So it will not affect your credit score. And then there is going to be hard inquiries. When you're looking at these inquiries, you need to just go through line by line and make sure, did you actually agree to these inquiries or not? I will let you know that, I mean, they're actually doing their job, but if you're going to a car dealership, they will send your information to multiple lenders. Again, they are doing their job to try to get you approved, but you need to also check to just look at each of those to see, did you actually agree to those inquiries? Then they have public records listed. That's where you usually will see your bankruptcies, such as your Chapter 7, 11, or 13. And then the tax liens and the civil judgment, they used to be able to be reported on your credit report, but they should not be shown on your credit report. So if they are, that's definitely something that you need to look into taking care of. And then the personal statement. This is the section which allows you to explain any derogatory information contained in your file. They say that this will likely have little or no impact on your overall credit standing or the decisions made by the creditors and the lenders, but it can't hurt to provide a rationale. I personally advise against that. You don't want to put a personal statement on your credit report that any and all creditors or lenders can pull and see something that you've written on there. So I always advise against that. So now let's do an actual example of a credit report. Let me change my screen up. Give me 1 second. All right, I hope you guys can see this. So this is a sample credit report, and this is something that you should definitely make sure that you pull your own report and kind of follow through as well. So looking at this report, one thing you want to do, this is the personal information section. So what you would want to do is looking at your name and literally go line by line, making sure that it is spelled the correct way with no errors. As you can see on this second line here, they're missing some letters in regards to this person's name. So this is something that you want to definitely like put a little star by, because that's something you're going to want to look into a little bit more. Now, there's also known as, look here, credit bureaus, y'all don't know me like that. Put my government name on here. So all of this, Valentine, Nestle, Pew, all of that, no, let's get that removed off. You should only have your government issued information. Don't have them talking about some as known as and stuff. No, get that removed off of that. In regards to farmer, I will only recommend this if like you've had a name change or you've gotten married within the last 2 years, but after 2 years or so, put a star by that, and that's something you want to look into as well too. Now, let's look at this date of birth, y'all. How were we born in March 22nd and also January 1st? Which one? What day did we enter into this world? So again, put stars by that. Making sure that you check that out as well. And then looking at the current address, making sure with your address that you actually have access to the address, okay? So again, looking to make sure everything is spelled correctly, everything is the correct number, all of that. If it's not correct, put your little star by. For the previous address, if you don't have access to this is something you want to make sure you put a star as well too, because that's something that you want to make sure that is updated to the correct information. As well too, the employers, they have Century Services, they have the Cascade Company. So you got a couple of things on here. I always recommend it should be the most recent information within the last 2 years, okay? Now, if at any time on your credit report you see these little dashes like this, you just need to probably reach out to the credit bureaus and just make sure that they've updated their system. Sometimes they have like a delay in updating, so you'll just see lines or you'll see like a weird number on there. So definitely just kind of keep an eye on that. And then the credit bureaus, they'll also give you just like a quick little review in regards to your risk factors. So for this particular one, they're saying that there are too many collection agency accounts that are unpaid. The date opening your oldest account is too recent. Too many bank card or revolving accounts with deleting or derogatory statuses, and a lack of sufficient relevant real estate account information. So they have that on both of these. And these risk factors will kind of give you a general idea on the things that you need to look into or the things that you need to work on. They also have just a quick summary. So you'll have a summary of all your total accounts, open accounts, your closed accounts, your delinquent accounts, derogatory. They will give you just a quick synopsis of everything that you have on here. You can also see here how many inquiries you've had in the last 2 years. So 9 with TransUnion, 34 with Experian, and 10 with Equifax. And remember, we talked about this a little earlier. That's why your credit scores are different, because different things are being reported to the different bureaus. Now, when it comes to your actual account history, you would really want to go line by line and looking at everything. So in this particular one, you can see that pretty much this is showing that they had a late payment, 30-day late payment, right? So what you would do is go through making sure the account number is correct, looking at the account details, the account status, your monthly payment, your date open. Okay, so was it April 22nd or was it April 1st, right? Also, looking at your high credit limit, past due, your date last reported, was it the 27th or was it the 1st of May? So literally going through line by line, making sure that all of your information is accurate, right? That's what we talked about, that it is accurate and that it is verifiable. Again, you will go through each one. If you see anything like this that has like all of the green showing you okay, you don't want to touch that. That means that is positive. So we'll keep strolling through. Okay, so this is another one, right? So if you ever see anything like this on your report, what it means is, okay, you were doing good, right? You're okay. But then you went from 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, 120 days late, 150 days late to a charge off. CO means that it's been charged off, right? So again, going through line by line, looking at your account, right? Looking at the account type, looking at the account status. So is it closed or is it a derogatory? The date open, was it open in November 24th or November the 1st? Looking at your high credit, was it 1474 or 0? Looking at your credit limit, is it 424 or 576? The payment status, is it current or is it a charge off? So also looking to the last reported, was it in 2009 or 2011? And then the comment section, was it because of a credit card lost or stolen, or it was a purchase by another lender? And then too, look at the date of the last activity. Was it in 2008 or 2011? And your last payment, 2004 and 2010, that's a big jump. So again, all of this information needs to be accurate and it needs to be verifiable. So just like with anything, people make mistakes, and at these different credit bureaus, they have, sometimes people are putting in the information, which is easy to make mistake. But as a consumer, you have the right to have accurate and verifiable information on your report. We won't go into this one into detail like the other ones, but I just want to show you. So how were we able to be okay, then jump to 60 days late, right? Then we jump back, okay. Then we jumped to 60 days, 90 days. We went okay again. Then we went to 60, 90. You got 120, but you got 150 here, right? And then 120. Then you got 120, 180, 120. Then you got a charge off here. So what happened to 30 days late, right? This does say September and then October. That's only 30 days in between. How do we jump from okay to 60? So again, just making sure that you are literally looking at your report line by line to make sure your information is accurate and on point. All right, so we're gonna jump back in. We're almost done, you guys. Thank you for hanging in with me. All right, so, all right, we did the, oh, let me show you some inquiries. Let me show you this one. All right, I'm gonna stop share to make and reshare it to make sure that you guys can actually see this one. Okay, you guys, so this is what happened when inquiries are made. This is an actual client of mine. So what they will do is they will show you the creditor's name, the date of the inquiry, and the credit bureau that it was reported to. So these are all the inquiries that have been made within the 2 years time period. This is a total of 98 inquiries. And again, remember, inquiries stay on for 2 years. So if someone was to pull this report, they're going to pretty much say it's a high risk, because if you had to keep going back trying to get more inquiries done, there is going to be a red flag. So just want to show you guys that. And let's get back into it. Okay, so now that you found the errors on your report, what do? Well, you can call and correct your personal information. Remember, your name, date of birth, your address, as well as you can request for the inquiries that you did not approve. You can ask for those to be removed. If they ask you for your email address or anything else, tell them that you want to receive an update and our responses in the mail. You don't want them to email it to you. You want to receive a hard copy. And if they ask you, do you want to dispute anything else? No, you don't want to dispute anything else over the phone or on their little online system. Because what happens is sometimes if you do that, you are actually inhibiting your ability to do any other types of disputes in the future relate to that. So do not dispute anything else online except your personal information and those inquiries that you did not approve. What you want to do is you want to send the dispute letters based off what your findings are. There's different DIY credit repair manuals, or you can actually hire a credit repair company to help you out. Did want to just share this. So this is actually one of my clients who we've been working with. We were able to get 3 deletions out for her. She was able to increase her points by 64 points, you guys. So we are so excited and happy for her. She's trying to buy a home within the next year. So we're on the right path. She was able to boost her Equifax score up by 62 points. But you will see with TransUnion, it did drop it by 7 points. So again, we talked about this already, but different data furnishers will report different things. So that's why there is some change. We got some gain, but we also have some loss as well too. This is another client who was able to get up, make some improvement. Her goal is to get up into the 700 club. So we got 4 things that were inaccurate, deleted off her report. So we got some gains by 3 points, as well as 25 points. So we're almost to her goal. Now, you remember the one that I just showed you guys with the 98 inquiries? So what happened was we started with the credit repair, right? And when you're doing credit repair, I ask you, do you plan on making any purchases within the next few months or so? You tell me yes or no. If yes, I say let's wait out. Well, she told me she wasn't gonna make any purchases. Well, y'all, come to find out, I get an alert that she has went out and has 20 different items added to her report. So guess what? Between those inquiries, and I think it's one actual like a collection that was added, her points have dropped down 45 points with Experian, dropped 22 points with Equifax, and dropped 24 points with TransUnion. And unfortunately, because I don't just take people's money, I had to actually remove or separate her from the program, because our goal is to teach, educate, and get you to where you need to be, versus having us to continue to start back at ground zero or past ground zero. Also too, when you are removing anything on your report, you have to, without a shadow of doubt, you have to add on positive items. So when you're taking things away, you need to add things as well too. So again, as you're removing negative items, you must, replace those with some good positive credit. You want to definitely make sure that you continue to go in the right direction by always adding positive credit. So some ways that you can add positive credit starting now. First of all, pay your bills on time. If that's an issue, use the auto pay or do what I do. Sometimes I just put an alarm on my phone to remind me when it's time for my due date. Because sometimes I be a little iffy. I put it 5 days before. I do a 5-day, a 3-day, and be like, girl, look, you better pay this thing before it shows late. So put an alarm on. Make sure you pay your credit cards under 30%. If you have multiple ones, look at each individual account. Do not apply for any new line of credit if possible. Like there are some times where you may need to apply for a new line of credit, but if you don't have to, do not try to open up any new line of credit. There's actually 2 rent reporting companies that I would recommend. One of them is Rent Reporters, and they will actually credit your rent for up to 4 prior years. They'll credit to TransUnion and Equifax. So that's an option. And again, if you've been paying rent for quite some time, you know that's usually like a high bill, just like a mortgage. Again, that can count on your credit and it can boost your credit up significantly. Another one that I just recently found out and I'm so excited to be partnered with is called Boom Rent. And they will report your rent to all 3 credit bureaus. Like I have not seen any other rent reporting company that does this. They report to all 3 bureaus up to 24 months prior, plus the current year that you're in for $59. So again, that's 3 years of credit for your rent for 3 years. I mean, for $59. So I'm so excited to be partnering with them for that. Some other ways you can definitely look into the self-credit builder. What you do is you deposit the agreed amount each month and it will credit to all 3 credit bureaus. So that's another good thing. If you do not have one, also look into a secure card. I do have some options on my website if you're interested in that. And if you decide to go with another one, just make sure that they are reporting to all 3 credit bureaus. What I've even started doing is instead of using my debit card, I've started transitioning to using my secure card. So that means if I can go through the drive-through at a restaurant, at a fast food place and spend however much on a meal and that count towards my credit, that's what I'll start doing. So again, I don't use my debit card. I really just use my secure card so it can help build my credit as well too. Another free option or another good option is to look into Experian Boost. What you will do is you will get credit for your bills like your phone, utilities, and popular streaming services like Netflix. And once they see that you've made 3-month payment for those utilities bills or the streaming services, you will start seeing that boost on your report. So that's another good option you can start doing now. How often do you review your credit report? Definitely pull your credit report at least once a year to review for any errors. There is definitely a difference between just looking at your credit scores and pulling your report. So make sure you actually pull your report, the sample that I showed you, and go line by line to make sure everything is correct. I did want to share with you guys, I do have a limited time special for anyone that is interested. If you're interested in doing your own DIY, do it yourself, I have a credit repair made easy manual. Original price is $97. I do have it for $49.99. If you use the code Zoom800, that will definitely get you that. And you can go to our website at creditscoreplan.com for that. You can also schedule your free, you guys. Seriously, I'm like so serious about trying to help people to become better with their credit needs. Sign up for your free credit consultation. Book your day, book your time today. Trust me, I am not hassle free. I'm only serious about working. I'm only working with those who are serious about getting their credit together. My original fees are $199 for onboarding and $89 a month. I am also doing a special right now for $149 for the onboarding and $89 a month. And I will tell you this, you guys, we don't guarantee any credit score increases, but we do definitely guarantee that we will literally go line by line, fine tooth comb to make sure that all of your information on your credit report, that it is accurate and that it is verifiable. So if you guys have any question and answers, please feel free to drop them in in the chat section. You can also just reach out to me, send me a DM. You can send me an email. You can, any way you need to, feel free to reach out to me so I can definitely help get you guys in the right track. And if you enjoyed this session, I will really, really appreciate that you share this with everyone that you know. Tag somebody in the comment section so that they can get this knowledge. And also to stay tuned for some more free credit tips. And again, let me know what you think about the session. So that is all I have. Turn my camera back on so you guys see me. All right, that is all I have. Again, my name is Rainier, but I go by Rainy, and I just really do look forward to helping you on your credit repair journey. Whatever way that I can help you out, I am definitely here for you. So don't forget to schedule your free consultation today. And I'll make sure that I put in the comment section or in the description, wherever this may be located, all of the information so you guys can click on those links and make sure you start getting your positive credit report, your positive credit score started today. So thank you guys again. I hope you have a good night. Bye.